Hello friends, I am Arpit and I am here with today's analysis. Today is 10th of January and we will be dealing with two very important topics which are in news. The first is the Production Linked Incentive Scheme 1.1 for specialty steel. The Production Linked Incentive Scheme aims to provide incentives to the manufacturers. But there is a condition. The government will be providing incentives indexed or based upon the amount of production that manufacturer has done. Government has set certain thresholds, and if the production surpasses that threshold, then only incentives will be given. This will motivate the manufacturer to manufacture more, reduce dependence upon other countries or reduce dependence upon imports, do more and more research and development, go for more and more employment generation. This is the basics of this particular scheme. Now, specialty steel is a steel which is used in transformers, power transformers, white goods, and such like. Largely, we used to import these specialty steels. We are now going for the PLI scheme for specialty steels as well. This will reduce the import dependence on that. The next is Indonesia joins the BRICS. Now, BRICS as an organization was formed in 2009. At that time, Brazil, Russia, India, and China gathered together. Yekaterinburg was the place. South Africa joined in 2010. In 2024, we saw four new members: UAE, Iran, Ethiopia, and Egypt. And in 2025, we have Indonesia as the newest member of BRICS. This grouping is gaining prominence worldwide. Many countries in the world right now want to become part of BRICS. One of the primary reasons behind this is that they are fed up with the Western dominated institutions like the United Nations. So let us see how BRICS as an organization grows, and will it be able to position itself at par with United Nations or not? No, that is to be seen with time. Then we will be dealing with the MCQs based on these two topics, and we will be discussing the answers to the MCQs of yesterday. The first topic, that is the PLI scheme 1.1 for specialty steel. So here, first of all, production linked incentive scheme. PLI full form is production linked incentive scheme. Government is giving incentives. These incentives are in the form of tax rebates, direct transfers, and multiple other ways, discounts on raw materials and all. But the government is saying that I am not going to give you these incentives right away, or just like that only. You'll have to first prove yourself. You will have to manufacture or produce beyond a certain threshold, then only you will be eligible for these kind of incentives. Now, this scheme has been into picture since 2021. But yes, for specialty steel, it has come into picture right now. On January 6, 2025, Union Minister for Steel and Heavy Industries, Shri H.D. Kumaraswamy, launched PLI Scheme 1.1 for specialty steel at Vigyan Bhavan, New Delhi. This particular scheme aims to boost domestic production, which every other production linked incentive scheme aims to boost, reduce imports, and position India as a global steel powerhouse. So, if the production will be high, obviously our import dependence will reduce. There will be more productivity in the country. We can export the domestically produced goods. We can generate more employment. All these are going to be the benefits of it. Now, if I have to see the highlights, the scheme duration, scheme will be implemented from FY 26, 2025-26 to FY 29-30. Objective is to promote the production of value-added steel grades in India. That is what specialized steel means. Reduce imports of specialty steels and promote self-reliance, Atmanirbharta. Promote innovation, strength domestic production, and increase exports. So this PLI scheme 1.1 covers 5 product categories. Basically, we need to understand this. First is coated plated steel products. Second is high strength wear resistant steel. Then next is specialty rails. Next is alloy steel products and steel wires. And last is electrical steels. Now all these kind of steels are called as specialty steels. They are widely used in industries such as white goods industries like electronics and automobiles, transformers, and other niche sectors. And these kind of, or the demand of these kind of industries is increasing day by day. So we need to be Atmanirbhar in this domain. Now, key points of the scheme, if I have to discuss. So this is open from 6th of January 2025 to 31st January 2025. Applications, the applicants who want to apply in this domain. Funding scheme will continue to operate under the originally allocated funds of 6,322 crore rupees for the PLI scheme for the steel sector. Changes to the scheme. Based on industry feedback, several changes have been introduced to make the scheme more investor friendly. So we need to understand one more thing, that this is PLI 1.1. So there was already PLI existing for the steel sector. But for the specialized steel, there is PLI 1.1 and some changes have been made to the existing scheme. First change is reduction in investment and capacity thresholds. Now, for able, to be or to be eligible to get access to those incentives, you have to do a minimum investment, you have to have minimum capacities for production. That minimum threshold has been reduced for specialized steel industries. Carry forward option for excess production. So let's suppose in 1 year you did, this is the threshold, you surpassed, your production is over here. Okay, and this excess production has been done. If you do this much excess, then also you will be eligible for the scheme. If you do this much, then also you will be eligible for the scheme. So what this scheme is saying now, that whatever the excess production you have done, it will be carried forward to the next year. Means next year also we will be taking into account this increased production. So let's suppose 10 tons of steels had to be produced. Minimum threshold was 10 tons. It had to be produced in a year to be eligible for incentives. My factory produced 25 tons. Okay. If I would have produced 11 tons also, then I would be eligible for the incentive because the minimum threshold is 10 tons. Now, what will happen? This is the base, 0 tons. Production is done by this much, and this is the threshold, minimum threshold, 10 tons. Now, next year when I go 2025, this added 15 tons will be counted. So, next year also if I see this increased amount is 15 tons from this minimum threshold, 10 to 25, this is 15 tons. So, next year also I will be eligible because my 15 tons is surpassing 10 tons. I am able to carry forward this excess production in a year to the other year. This is what it wants to say, the carry forward option for excess production to the next year for incentive claims. Then augmentation of existing capacities will now be allowed to participate in the scheme. Means it is not like ki after the scheme has been launched, after that how much augmentation you have done in your capacities. If you already have an existing capacity, that will also be taken into account for getting access to the incentives. This is basically what it wants to say. Now, important subcategories in this have been introduced. Cold rolled grain oriented steel, CGRO. So, sorry, CRGO. Cold rolled grain oriented steel. This is a high value steel used for power transformers. Power transformers, are used for transmitting power and all. And India's power demand is on the rise. By 2030, 800 megawatts or sorry, 800 gigawatts will be required by the country. Now, India's steelmakers currently do not produce CRGO, but the scheme aims to make the country self-reliant in this key product. So, CRGO is used in power transformers. This we are not, self-reliant in this, but yes, we are now having this particular steel as part of PLI 1.1 scheme for the specialized steel or specialist steels. There we can have access to the incentives for the manufacturers producing the CRGO category of steel. Expected impact of PLI scheme 1.1. First is domestic production will rise. which obviously will reduce India's reliance on the imports. So this is their domestic production will increase. This is the first and primary expected impact. Second impact is investment and employment. It will increase. People will be more interested in investing because incentives are there. Employment generation will happen if investments happen. Now, in the first round, 27,106 crore rupees was committed with 24 million tons of downstream capacity creation. As of November 2024, 18,300 crore rupees has already been invested, creating 8,300 direct jobs. This indicates the positive impact of the scheme on economic growth and employment generation. So, this is there, investment and employment will happen. Incentive distribution. Excess production in a given year can be carried forward to the next year. That is, what we've seen already. Global competitiveness will increase. Scheme will help Indian steel compete globally by improving the value added product mix, which will result in higher exports of specialty steel. So that will also happen. Background of the PLI scheme. What is the background of this? So the first round of this PLI scheme for specialty steel was notified on July 29, 2021. And in that scheme, the carry forward to the next year and, limit for, capacities and this was not lower, it was higher. Carrying forward was not allowed in this PLI 1 scheme, which was launched in 2021 for specialty steel. In 1.1, these changes have been accommodated. The goal was to promote the production of value added steel in India and help the Indian steel industry progress technologically, reduce imports, and promote self reliance. Achievements of this scheme. As of November 2024, the first round saw a commitment of rupees 27,106 crore by 26 companies for 44 projects. It led to the creation of 24 million tons of downstream capacity and generation of 8,300 direct jobs. And estimated payout for the first round's participants is 2,000 crore rupees. So these have been the achievements, and we have now upgraded it to PLI 1.1. Now, key changes in PLI 1.1: increased flexibility for investors, lower investment and capacity threshold. This is the change in PLI 1.1 which was launched in 2025, and we are comparing it with the one which was launched in 2021. So, in the 2025 scheme, we have lowered the investment and capacity thresholds for certain categories such as CRGO, cold rolled grain oriented steels, which is used to make transformers. Second, carry forward of excess production. Companies can carry over any excess production to the following year, helping them meet their production targets even if they fall short in the next year. The next is investment in existing capacities. Companies looking to augment their existing capacities can now participate in the scheme, making it more accessible for companies that are not installing entirely new mills. So, this is happening. Future of PLI scheme. What is the future of PLI scheme 1.1? It is part of Indian government's effort to increase, production, enhance self-reliance or Atmanirbharta in steel production, increase global competitiveness, support job creation also and economic growth side by side. So yes, all these things are going to have an impact, and yes, you know, if it becomes successful, investment is there, productivity is there, then definitely more employment generation will be there. The GDP contribution to of this particular sector will increase, and obviously the incomes of the people will be positively impacted. So this is what we need to learn from this. Next is Indonesia joins BRICS. Now this is, you know, something which was expected, I would say. By doing this, Indonesia has become the first Southeast Asian country to join BRICS. BRICS, a grouping which was formed in the year 2009, and this is a grouping of the developing countries of the world. We can call it a grouping of the global South as well. In 2009, four countries: Brazil, Russia, India, China, they met and established BRIC. In 2010, South Africa was included. Then in 2023, there was a talk of including 6 new countries: Saudi Arabia, UAE, Iran from Asia. Then Ethiopia and Egypt from Africa, and Argentina was the sixth from South America. But by the end of 2023, Argentina declared that it is not going to be part of BRICS. And Saudi Arabia, as of now, has not clarified whether it will be part of BRICS or not. But yes, the remaining four countries, that is Iran, UAE, Ethiopia, and Egypt, they joined the BRICS summit last year, which happened in Kazan, Russia. And that was the first summit with enhanced membership of BRICS. It is being called as BRICS Plus. Now, Indonesia has become the fifth country to be part of it. And this year's summit, the BRICS summit, will see Indonesia as participating for the very first time as a full-time member in BRICS. Now, the importance or the relevance of this particular grouping is increasing a lot all over the world. In 2023, South Africa did the Friend of BRICS Summit. And in that Friend of BRICS Summit, more than 40 countries expressed their desire to join BRICS. This was a substantial achievement. But why, relevance is increasing, we need to know that as well. Now, the world is increasingly seeing BRICS as an alternate to United Nations. United Nations is a global organization. BRICS is not a global organization. We need to understand this. Both United Nations and BRICS, they have their financial institutions. Like United Nations has World Bank and IMF. BRICS has New Development Bank and Contingency Reserve Arrangement. But the pockets of World Bank and IMF are way deeper than the pockets of NDB and CRA. This is the difference. But yes, these, grouping has, is very young as compared to United Nations. These financial institutions are very young as compared to World Bank and IMF. So maybe in the future, they become more and more robust. And with the growing legitimacy in the world right now, more and more countries wanting to join or become part of BRICS highlights the growing importance of this particular grouping. So now let us see to this. So Indonesia has become the first Southeast Asian country to become part of BRICS. And it comes as Indonesia sets an ambitious target of achieving 8% GDP growth rate if it has to become a developed country. And it will be among the world's fastest growing economies. It is targeting this 8% GDP, and Indonesia believes that joining BRICS definitely will be instrumental in aiding Indonesia in its growth story. Now, with its entry into the BRICS Plus, Brock, an expanded version of BRICS, which includes, countries like Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and UAE as of now. This has been, or Indonesia has been, the fifth country in this BRICS Plus scenario. So, what is BRICS? Formed in 2009, representing emerging economies with a goal of reshaping global governance and challenging the dominance of Western-led institutions like United Nations and all. And over the years, the group has expanded. Recent inclusions, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, UAE have become part of BRICS Plus, and now Indonesia is also part of BRICS Plus. Now, key facts about BRICS Plus, if I have to highlight: global trade, it accounts for 24% of the global trade. Economic impact represents 28% of the world's GDP. Global partnerships, by 2022, BRICS Plus had become the main trade partner for 28% of the countries worldwide. Let's not forget China is over here. Okay. So Indonesia's entry into BRICS strengthens its role within this influential bloc, providing the country with greater access to trade, infrastructure financing. NDB does that, and technological collaboration, all of which are essential to reaching its ambitious economic goals. Now, why did Indonesia join BRICS? First is to strengthen economic partnership. Now, Indonesia's president Prabowo Subianto recognizes that long-term growth requires diversified trade relationships and increased foreign investment. Both will happen by joining BRICS. Members in BRICS open access to new markets in Asia, Africa, and Latin America, helping Indonesia expand its non-traditional trade partners. So, if you see closely, these three continents are there in BRICS: Asia, Russia, India, China. Africa, South Africa is there. Latin America, South America, Brazil is there. The expanded members also, if you see, UAE and Iran, Asia. Ethiopia, Egypt is Africa. Indonesia, Asia. So it is like this. Infrastructure and financing opportunities. Infrastructure investment is critical to achieving Indonesia's growth target. Now, by joining BRICS, Indonesia can access low-cost financing through the new development bank, which focuses on funding infrastructure projects in member countries. It has funded numerous infrastructure projects in India also. The Namo Rail, Rapid Rail Transit System, RRTS, funded by NDB. Multiple metro rail projects funded by NDB. During COVID, $1 billion was funded by NDB to the member countries. So, this is that financial institution which is under BRICS. Large scale infrastructure projects like ports, railways, and roads are needed to support Indonesia's ambitious growth plans of 8% plus growth. So, yes, obviously, infrastructure is very important in that. Then, advocating for the global south. So, BRICS is all about global south. Indonesia has a platform to advocate for the interest of the emerging economies in the global south if it is becoming part of BRICS. So it can vouch for it, or it can advocate for the overall development of the Southeast Asian region. It can be a champion for the Southeast Asian region in the BRICS countries, because it is the only Southeast Asian country which is going to be part of BRICS. Attracting investment. With BRICS Plus representing nearly a third of global GDP, Indonesia's membership increases its appeal as an investment destination as well. It might be inviting to come and invest in Indonesia. And let's not forget that the world's most crucial trade route, passes in the vicinity of Indonesia, that is Strait of Malacca. Now, let us also understand Indonesia's trade dynamics with the BRICS countries. The trade volume and growth potential. As of 2024, Indonesia's trade with BRICS nations reached approximately $150 billion, demonstrating the importance of BRICS as a trade partner. Expanding this trade is crucial for Indonesia's target of 8% GDP growth, as it needs to significantly increase its exports. Now, key exports to BRICS countries: palm oil, a major export to markets like India and China; coal and natural gas, supporting energy security in BRICS countries; rubber, widely used in industrial and automotive applications; and key imports from BRICS countries: machinery and electronics to aid in Indonesia's industrialization efforts; chemicals for growing agriculture and manufacturing sectors of Indonesia. So this is what it is importing, and you know this is what it is exporting. It has the capacity to export, especially palm oil export. It is one of the largest palm oil exporters to the world. Now, linking BRICS membership to Indonesia's growth ambition. Growth ambition is 8%. How it will, help? First, it will help in infrastructure development by getting access to the loans from NDB. Infrastructure is very much important. Second is technology transfer and industrial growth. So, BRICS membership offers Indonesian opportunities for technological collaboration, particularly in renewable energy, artificial intelligence, and digitalization. India is also championing in renewable energy, digitalization, and artificial intelligence. So yes, this can be shared. Trade diversification. By engaging more with BRICS Plus, Indonesia can reduce its reliance on traditional markets like the US and the EU. Diversifying its export base will ensure that Indonesia's economy remains resilient and sustainable in the long term. So, this is what it means. BRICS membership as a catalyst for growth. How it will act like a catalyst. It can lead to structural reforms in Indonesia. Geopolitical complexities can be overcome. And this active participation in BRICS by Indonesia will not only contribute to Indonesia's growth, but also help shape the future of global economic governance, offering a platform for emerging economies to collectively pursue equitable development. It will be a message to many countries in the world, especially in Southeast Asian region or that Micronesia region, that yes, this is a grouping and this is how this grouping benefits the countries. This will help BRICS also to further increase its legitimacy and relevance. Now coming to the MCQs. First, consider the following objectives of the product linked incentive scheme and mark the correct one. Objectives: achieve Atmanirbharta, increase production capacities. Only one, only two, both one and two, neither one nor two. I think now it is relatively simple if you have heard it right. Second, which steel grade is used in power transformers? First is cold rolled grain oriented steel. Second is high strength wear resistant steel. Third is electrical steels or none of the above. Third question, which of these countries is a founding member of BRICS? UAE, South Africa, Ethiopia or none of the above. Fourth, which of the following can be the consequences of Indonesia joining BRICS? Increased trade with BRICS countries, increased access to financing, increasing palm oil exports from Indonesia. Which of these statements are correct? Now, discussing the answers to yesterday's MCQs. First is consider the following features of landslide dams and mark the correct one. So, landslide dams, just to make you, revise, a river is flowing and landslide happens. This landslide obstructs the river, creates a dam over here. So, this is a landslide dam. So, landslide dams can create temporary lakes. So, yes, it has created a temporary lake. Landslide dams can cause landslide lake outburst floods. We don't know till what time this will hold the water. This is what? Gravel, stones, trees and all which have come down. And once they start to get loosened, there will be floods downstream. And those floods are called as landslide lake outburst floods. So this statement is correct as well as this statement is correct and hence C is the correct option. Second, which of these lakes is an example of landslide dam lake? So it is the Gohna Tal, which was formed in I would say 1893. 1894, some of the disruption or rupturing happened in that, but yes, in 1970 finally, it caused landslide lake outburst floods downstream. So this is a classic example of landslide dams. Third, which of these can be the reasons for landslide dams formation? Deforestation, obviously deforestation leads to landslides. Climate change leads to, lot of unexpected and extreme climate events like cloudbursts and all. So that also causes a lot of landslides. So this is also correct. Road construction weakens the already fragile Himalayas, thereby loosening the soil in the vicinity. So causing landslides. All these three can be the reasons for landslide dam formation. Fourth, which organization in India serves as the National Central Bureau for Interpol? So this is very simple. Central Bureau of Investigation. This is a direct question. It is not NIA, it is not CBC, it is not the Indian Army, but CBI. So it is factual, nothing to explain in it. Fifth, which of these are the objectives of Bharatpol? First is faster access to international assistance. Obviously, yes. Improved real-time coordination between local law enforcement agencies. Yes. As I said, both of these are objectives. We can coordinate in real time with the foreign countries for transnational crimes. And second is inside the country also we can increase the coordination. So both of these are there and hence both 1 and 2 is going to be the correct option over here. So with this, we have come to an end of today's session. I will be seeing you tomorrow now with more such informative news pieces. Till then, you guys very well know what to do. Keep studying, keep reading, keep writing, and most importantly, keep revising. Namaste. Jai Hind.